There's billions of dollars in commissions to be earned around the world, and the robots are trying to get into your wallet. For over 20 years, I've dedicated my life to bringing you the very best selling, marketing, and business building strategies to keep your business thriving. Get ready to experience the success you've been searching for. Welcome to the Tom Ferry Show. Hey, welcome to the Tom Ferry Show. I just finished our 14th Annual Success Summit. I literally hand wrote some notes, a message that I want to share with you, something that I was doing everything in my power to drive home for every single person inside this room. And that is, you're vulnerable and your business is vulnerable. Let me explain. I mentioned to everybody that there's an $86 billion, billion dollar commission opportunity for you if you're living in the US. There's an $11 billion opportunity if you're in Canada. There's over $100 billion in commissions to be paid out throughout Europe, and in Australia and New Zealand, about $11 to $12 billion as well. The reality is, my friends, if you put all that together, we're talking about $208 billion in commission income available. Now, I know as you hear that, you might be like, Tom, I want more of it. That's awesome. Listen to me. Here's my fear. Your business, like so many people I'm talking to today, is vulnerable because, here's what I wrote down, you're not innovating fast enough. And some companies are. Some big businesses are. You're not innovating fast enough. You're not connecting. You're not marketing. You're not messaging in a way that's super relevant to your customers, and you're missing out because the robots, my friends, the robots, they're trying to take over. I'm going to get to that in a minute. The deal is right now, you're not connecting. You're not messaging in a way with your customers to have them truly understand your value. Remember, the average consumer moves 2 to 3 times a year in their lifetime. And the National Association of Realtors in the US, NAR, goes out and interviews them and says, would you use your agent again? And it's like emphatic, like, 86, 87% say absolutely yes, and yet the data shows us less than 12% actually do. My friends, your business is vulnerable. I'm gonna go a little deeper though, you ready? I wrote down, here's the reality. There's a $15 to $16 billion ad spend annually, if you read the Burrell report, by companies that are far more sophisticated in terms of their marketing and resources than you are. Amazon came out, Redfin, Costco, every portal, every major brand, every single one of them wants a bigger piece of that $208 billion. And my question for you is, what are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? Now, if you say to me, Tom, I'm retiring in a few years and I'm going to be done. I really don't care. I'm just going to ride this next 3-year wave, make a little more money, and then I'm done. You can turn off the Tom Ferry Show right now. But if you're like me and you're planning on doing this for another 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, you better pay attention, my friends, because your business is vulnerable. And if you're not making the adjustments, if you're not changing, you know what happens. What was Darwin's quote? Everyone said after he passed, it was all about, the ones that survive or the fittest. I think the actual quote from Darwin went something like this, that the ones who survive, they weren't the strongest, they weren't the most intelligent, but it was those that were willing to adapt to change. That's who survived. I don't have to tell you, the change is happening in real estate and it's only accelerating. Everything is speeding up except for commissions in the US, which we had a trailing 5.4% average commission. Now we're looking at a 5% average commission. The world is shifting, my friends, and your business is vulnerable. And I've got a solution, and it's really simple. Here's what I wrote down. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to compete? NAR again says 86 to 87% will use the agent, only 12% or less actually do. How do you compete? I wrote down the following. You ready? Obvious. You better use the tools. You better use the platforms. You better become more tech-enabled in your business because every consumer expects things free, perfect, and right now. Or as close as possible to free, as we all know. But they expect it right now. They don't send you a text and say, I'll give her 3 or 4 hours and see if she responds. They want it right now. That's the world we live in. And there are people right now in 2017 that aren't paying attention to the tech that's available to ease, if you will, your communication, the speed of which you can reach out to customers, the number of people you can talk to, and the ease of transaction management. There's so many platforms available, and yet, You're not taking advantage of it. I'm challenging your thinking. I'm challenging you, just like Darwin said, it's not the strongest. It's not the most intelligent. It's the one that adapts to the changing environment. That's who survives. That's who wins. Here's what I wrote down. I want to challenge you to become a tech-enabled service company. A tech-enabled a service business. I help people buy and sell real estate. I use technology to make it fast, efficient, beautiful, high service, wonderful for the customers, but I use all this technology to enhance my service. Now, if you don't understand tech-enabled service companies, they're lightning hot and have been for the last 18 months. I strongly recommend you Google that term, and I want you to put it on steroids with the following. You ready? This is how you beat the robots. Right? There's AIs out there that are responding to leads, that are connecting, that are, converting appointments. There's so much happening out there. We can get lost in the sort of robot game of real estate. I'm asking you to do the two things, the humanness that's going to cause you to capture the biggest potential lion's share of that $208 billion. You ready? Trust and caring. Trust and caring. Trust and caring. That's how you beat the robots. You have to be able to create trust with customers, and you have to care, or call it empathy, call it whatever you like. And I know some of you are, oh, Tom, I just want to do deals and make money. No, listen, there might be a market for you. But at the end of the day, if you don't care about the customer, and you don't create trust, and you don't create empathy, it's no different. We're going to talk service in a minute, Southwest Airlines versus Emirates. They both get me there. But one is very disruptible because it's only based upon price. One is very disruptible because it's only based upon price. If you don't care, you could be squeezed out of the market just on price alone, my friends. Now, I wrote down the following. You ready? I think there's 3 things you can do to up your trust game. By the way, my friend Todd Duncan wrote a wonderful book called High Trust Selling. If you haven't read it, get it today. Buy it immediately. There's 3 things, and we know this. Ready? Number 1 thing to create more trust with a brand new client, someone in your database for 25 years, stay in communication and be in their model of the world. Stay in communication and be in their model of the world. What does that mean, right? The first thing I would ask you is this. If you were looking for a plan between now and the end of the year, I would ask you, how many people are in your database? And how many times can you touch them in a relevant way, right, to strengthen the bond of your relationship, to stay top of mind, right? You've heard me talk about the TOM plan, the top of mind plan, where you're bringing them value, you're sharing insights, but there's another detail to that, right? If I pay attention to what matters most in their life, their time frame, their kids, their life, their family, I'm strengthening the bond of that relationship. You and I both know, in the absence of trust, no business is done. In the absence of trust, there are no referral opportunities. They don't say, oh, you got to call Martha. She gets the job done. No, they say, oh my God, let me tell you about Martha. She was there for us. She went the extra mile. She solved all these problems. She's unbelievable. Like, you know what it's like to create those raving fans. And that's how you win in today's environment. That's how you eliminate some of these vulnerabilities. Second thing I wrote down, you got to up your level of service. However you're defining service today, put it on steroids. Like I mentioned earlier, Southwest Airlines versus Emirates. My dear friend Kurt Kessel, sitting right over here, said to me, Tom, that's the deal. Like Southwest Airlines and Emirates, they both get me there. But in our business, right, he and his partner, they want to provide that Emirates level of service, that Ritz-Carlton level of service with every customer. Now, think about that in your business, from the way you answer the phone, to the speed of which you answer the phone, to the way you offer your marketing, to the way you deliver yourself on a presentation. You and I both know this is not an average sales price conversation. This is a how I choose to run my business and create the kind of experience for my clients that ups the trust game. You should dive into, in September, October, November, December, every book, every podcast, every audio program you can around upping my game of service, and find those 3, 4, 5 things you can add into your business that up your game and have your clients go, wow, and really up your trust. And then the last one, number 3, is over-deliver on the promise. Think about it. I mean, it's every day you get bombarded with requests. Could you get me this information? Could you let me know the value of my home? Could you? And the reality is, the cardinal sin today is to not get back to them and not get back to them in a timely manner and not deliver at least the minimum of what they want. Now, read my buddy Todd's book, because there's 10, 15 chapters on this. But you and I both know the opposite of trust. In the absence of trust, there's only rejection, right? Objections. They're not going to give you the business when there's no trust. You're not going to be top of mind when there's no trust. Look, there's a $15 to $16 billion ad spend coming after your GCI, and you're not in communication with the most important people inside your database, cultivating those relationships, upping that trust game. We know that's a problem. You can make up a laundry list of all the things to do to break trust. We want to be the opposite of that. Let's finish with the last one. It's pretty simple. It's caring. It's empathy. I always think about, the average consumer moves, 2, 3, 4 times in their lifetime. And you deal with people that are moving every day, all the time, every week, every month, one after another. And not unlike, the doctor who sees multiple patients over and over again, walks in, sees a diagnosis, reads the little x-ray and says, this is what we got to do. We don't like that doctor, because they don't even see us. They don't even experience us. We're just a job. We're the next one. Nobody wants to feel like the next one. So I always say to myself, old school, if my parents were buying a house, if my grandparents, my in-laws were selling their home at 90 and 93, what kind of experience would I want to create for them? How much empathy would I have as they were talking about all the memories of their home and getting out of that property and what it means to them? At the end of the day, my friends, we are a tech-enabled service business. That's how you beat the robots. Ask yourself, how can you up your empathy? How can you up your caring for your clients? I'm not asking you to radically change everything you're doing. The simplest thing I know is, when you're with them, be in the moment. Honor the fact that this is maybe the first time they're selling their house and they don't know what it's like. They haven't moved or experienced movement the way you have in your career. And if you could just slow down a little bit and connect with them on that level, my friends, your top of mind awareness, your trust, your referral opportunities, everything goes through the roof. And sure, they'll see those commercials, they'll see those ads, they'll look at things that are going ding on their iPhone and everything else, and they're going to say, you know what? I like her. I like him. I like you. That's what it's all about. This is your opportunity. There's $208 billion. Side note, for some of us that are really ambitious, there's a whole bunch of agents that aren't going to do anything I'm talking about, which means you get to grab all that market share. Congratulations. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to read your comments. For those of you that are with us at the summit, God bless you. Keep up the great work. Keep charging. If you were with us on the live cast, keep going. Remember, always your strategy matters, and now more than ever, your passion rules. Hey, it's Tom Ferry. Just want to say thank you for being a part of our ecosystem, being a part of our community, watching the Tom Ferry Show, coming to our events, being one of our coaching members, or maybe just a few of you just hanging out, watching and never jumping in. I just want to say thank you. A couple years ago when we started the Tom Ferry Show, my mission was very simple. I said, let's codify what are the best mental skills, the mindset techniques that are causing our clients to go out and win, to succeed when there's endless barriers in front of them, constant challenges to persevere and continue to win. I also said, what are the very best models you can use, not only to save more money, but to earn more money, to build a better business, to organize a better team. Right, through modeling, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's what the Tom Ferry Show is all about. And of course, the last one is marketing, right? Giving you, instant access to the very best strategies, the very best techniques, the stuff that's working right now for our customers, so you stay ahead of the curve. Now, why am I doing this? Why is there 130 shows already out, 2.5 years, 2,000 plus minutes of content absolutely free? Because I know in my heart of hearts, the consumer deserves a better quality real estate professional. And if I can push you, if I can challenge you, if I can engage with you to implement just one new idea that elevates your career, I know at the end of the day, I'm doing my job, because you're serving more customers. That's what it's all about for me. Now, I decided several months ago that I was going to take and codify all of the best stuff from the Tom Ferry Show, the best mindset techniques, the best models, the best marketing strategies, and put it into a book. Because a lot of people say, Tom, like, you got audios, you got podcasts, you got video. I'm old school, I want a book. Well, old school is available, but today, I really want to just request, I want to ask you, you've been enjoying this content, you've been a part of our community. On August 28th, to the 31st, just 3 days, we're going to make the entire book available on Amazon Kindle for 99 cents. I know that's bananas, 99 cents. So here's my request. would you take the time to buy that book? And more importantly, if you really want to have some fun, post a comment or two on Amazon, on that Amazon Kindle guide there. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you think of the book. Tell us about your experience. And then from that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull one lucky winner to get a free session with me. I'm going to give away lots of tickets to all of our events, Sales Edge, Summit, and more. Maybe a few other special gifts, some signed books, and more, as really just a thank you. I know it's not the 99 cents, because I know from all the comments I brought you way more than 99 cents worth of value on the Tom Ferry Show, but it would mean the world to me. So I'm asking you as a friend, I'm asking you as a coach, would you take the time to buy that book, the 28th through the 31st, the Amazon Kindle version? Post a comment, give us some feedback, and just know from the bottom of my heart and all of my team, we appreciate you being a part of our community, and we thank you in advance for taking advantage of this special offer. Thank you so much, and God bless.